I have some massive news when it comes to ICP. Now, what is that? If we take a look at Grayscale, which is pretty much one of the biggest things out there, I'm pretty sure everyone knows that. But besides that point, we'll see that when it comes to assets under consideration, it was recently, noted that something called ICP was there. And that's not a joke, by the way. Again, when it comes to assets under consideration, when it comes to Grayscale, ICP is there. I mean, can you imagine this? Grayscale, first of all, just to visualize as to just how insane this is, if we take a look at the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, it currently holds over 220,000 Bitcoin, slightly over that. But even besides that point, considering the current value of Bitcoin, that right there is actually around $14.5 billion. Actually, a little bit more than that. That's how insane this is. I mean, can you imagine this, right? When it comes to Grayscale, they're massive. When they take something into consideration, they first study it, right? They do their due diligence because there's no way something that massive is just going to randomly consider random assets for no reason. No, that's not the case, right? Here's the thing. When it comes to ICP, sometimes people just don't understand how special it is. I mean, man, but I think as time goes on, people are beginning to understand it, and even large-scale entities, much like Grayscale as well. However, with that being said, does this automatically mean that Grayscale is going to start acquiring like hundreds upon hundreds of millions of dollars worth of ICP or something crazy like that? No, I mean, it's not the case whatsoever, right? Again, they're just having it under consideration, which actually, if you take a look at it, is a great sign even, despite Grayscale, let's say, not doing this. Now, why is that? It's because, first of all, having something under consideration when it comes to Grayscale, I think validates it as being a serious and amazing project. Because if it's not a serious project, I don't think it would be there. Also, on top of that, we take a look at how even just the potential of Grayscale, let's say, acquiring ICP hypothetically, that's already enough to, let's say, during a fully fledged bull run, really, causing a lot of attention and hype when it comes to ICP. So I think that's a bonus. And also, the third scenario is that, let's say Grayscale does fully decide to, start acquiring ICP. Now, that's just a cherry on top right there. That'd be amazing. So either way you take a look at it, it's amazing news in both, like, three ways, right? You take a look at, if let's say just news like this, that's fantastic anyways. Let's say they seriously consider it and start talking about it a little bit more. That's amazing anyways. Also, on top of that, if they actually do decide to fully commit and acquire it, that's a big win in my opinion. So anyway you take a look at it, this is so fantastic when it comes to ICP. Now, some people out there, they think that, ICP, it's so trash, all this type of stuff, the name is corny, all this. But no, I disagree, because $500, that's still my price target for ICP during this bull run, which isn't crazy, by the way, considering current circulating supply. Market cap would be around $236 billion. Now, I get it, it's around a 60x from here, but when I take a look at the world's most productive blockchain, which allegedly the internet computer is, when I take a look at, for instance, how the average cost per instruction is over 40 million times less expensive than Ethereum. Also, when I take into consideration how they're trying to decentralize the internet, they're focused on decentralized AI. When I take all of this into consideration, does this mean ICP is going to do bad? I mean, come on, man. We've seen, like, Ethereum reach over $550 billion in market cap. We've seen BNB, which I think is, like, far more caca, arguably speaking, when compared to ICP, reach over $100 billion in market cap. We've seen Solana do well. And I think that the internet computer just completely, embarrasses them in terms of pure fundamentals. I'm not talking about ecosystem. I'm not talking about fans. I'm just talking about purely from a fundamental standpoint of view. The internet computer is truly something, in my opinion. I mean, this is hypothetically something so fantastic, and I really can't wait, because sometimes people like to say that, when it comes to the internet computer, it's not a serious project, all this type of stuff. Well, no, I disagree, because again, just like I mentioned before, if something's being considered by Grayscale, it must be serious, in my opinion. Also, on top of that, you take a look at, when it comes to BNB, what are they really focused on? You take a look at something, for instance, something like Solana, right? What is their true focus? If you really think about it, the internet computer, they have these grand visions. They actually have an objective in mind. It's not like they're just randomly saying, yeah, we're a good, project, believe in us, build on us. No, that's not the case. They're not, lazy in that sense. They set out goals, and I really like that. And the amazing thing about the internet computer is that it could potentially revolutionize the whole crypto space as we see it. Because if you take a look at it, right, again, when you have something that's the world's most productive blockchain being this fantastic, I think it would only be fair to assume that the ecosystem naturally, as time goes on, is going to be absolutely amazing. Because, if you actually take a look at something like Solana, for instance, right, something like Ethereum, in terms of building projects on them, especially in the long term. I'm not talking about short-term hype, all this type of stuff. I'm talking about, again, for the long term, it would much better for me, let's say, for instance, if I'm a developer, to be building on the internet computer. Again, something that's fundamentally better. And this is going to take some time, though. It's not going to happen like in the next week or next month, because it's going to take time for sentiment to change. But I think in the future, we could very well see the internet computer just absolutely dominate, because it's just such an amazing place to be. The way I take a look at it is that the internet computer, if I were to put a foundation, let's say I'll put an analogy on it, it's like a building that can withstand like 200 floors or something like that. Let's say 100 floors, right? Solana, maybe like 50 floors. Ethereum, maybe like, 50 floors as well. But then it's kind of like a caca thing because gas fees are completely insane. But yeah, even besides that, when I take a look at the internet computer, it's just a much better place to be, in my opinion. And I really like that. So any way I view it, ICP is a no-brainer pick for me. You also have to take into consideration how there's over 600 million crypto owners. That's over 500 million, more than ever before in history, according to Crypto.com research. Also, on top of that, ICP is listed in a bunch of major exchanges. So the exposure is fantastic. People are not going to have a hard time accessing it. At least that's the way I view it. Not to mention, you take a look at the Bitcoin ETF. That's massive, right? So with all these amazing factors, I think this bull run could be so legendary. But it's going to take some time, though. I think around 6 months, a year from right now, things could be so different. And that right there is why I'm staying dedicated when it comes to ICP. I'm dollar cost averaging, acquiring, holding, and just waiting. That's it. I like to keep things simple. When something is this amazing, I think there's no need to overcomplicate things like drawing random, triangles on a price chart, some, random Bratwurst extender on a price chart. That's just not my style, man. That's not what I do. I like to keep things simple. Again, just acquire, hold, and I just wait. That's it. Because sometimes people like to say that, yeah, when it comes to ICP, it sucks. But here's the thing. The way I view it is that it's kind of amazing in a sense that it has A+ fundamentals, but the upside feels like a meme coin. Now, hear me out, because again, $500 is around a 60x from here. Usually, when people talk about a project doing over a 50x, they typically think about meme coins, right? Because they're like, oh, this meme coin could do over a 50x, all this type of stuff. But they don't really consider, fundamentally amazing projects that could potentially do that. But the crazy thing about ICP is this. Even though it's not a small project by any means, it still has a lot of room to grow. The potential upside hypothetically feels like a meme coin, but then the fundamentals feels like Ethereum, but way better. You know what I mean? It just kind of feels like almost Solana, but then just tremendously better. That's the way I take a look at it. So it's kind of crazy to take a look at that. At least that's the way I view it. But hey, nonetheless, I think that ICP still has a bright future ahead, and it's not like it's something that's going to disappear when the hype is gone, because when something is this amazing, it's still going to have a bright future. Think about how many more thousands of decentralized applications, how many more thousands of projects that are going to come from here on out. I think this is far from over, the race. So I think naturally, of course, many of these developers, when they understand just how special the internet computer is, they're probably going to select that. So I think it's still going to have a bright future ahead, like 10 years, 15 years down the line. A lot of other projects out there, we don't even really know if they're going to make it through the next 5 years, for instance. We don't know. But when it comes to the internet computer, I believe it's going to be around for the long haul, which is why, again, $500, that's still my price target for ICP during this bull run. I'm not giving up. I still believe in it, and I think brighter days are ahead. And by the way, if you want to know my exit strategy when it comes to ICP, you want to know my portfolio, what I'm holding, and also on top of that, if you want me to review your portfolio, feel free to join the Discord. The link is in the description below if you want to. And also on top of that, feel free to also become a channel member. And that way I can prioritize responding to your comments, because as of right now, there's a lot of comments. Pretty difficult to respond to every single one of them, even though I do try my best. Even despite that, if you become a channel member, it'll show that you're a channel member. And then again, I can prioritize responding to your comments. And again, ICP at the price of $500, that right there wouldn't surprise me whatsoever during this bull run. I think it could be that amazing. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's Mali the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.